Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my fertility journey and kind of why there's lipstick on my teeth. Yeah. And I guess you could say kind of what helped me get pregnant after 12 months of trying. Actually, it's technically 11 months of trying because we found out in August, so we conceived in August. So I guess you could say, because our journey started August 17th and we found out, August 17th, 2019, we started trying, and then August 19th of 2020 is when we found out. So I guess you could say a year. Journey. However, I wanted to give you guys a little information. None of this is going to be a for sure type of thing, because there may be some type of underlying issue or condition that you may have or your husband may have. But I just want to give you a little insight on what helped me get pregnant and what I think may have contributed to that last month, that July month. When did I ovulate? No, it's actually August. I ovulated August 5th or 6th. I think I might have ovulated the 5th, and I think I might have conceived the 6th. Anyways, I'm like down to the wire. So if you are interested in hearing about that, then please keep on watching. So as I mentioned, we tried for an entire year, and at first we weren't really tracking anything. We were just kind of like, having fun, having sex and things like that. And after probably, I want to say, that was October, I kind of started getting worried because I, at the time, was 24 and my husband was 25. So I was like, we're young, we're hip, we're cool. No, but at the time I was like, we're young, why aren't we getting pregnant? And I had a lot of misconceptions about conceiving and making a baby that I think a lot of us have, because a lot of us we're not privy to what all goes into making a baby. We think it's just like, let's have sex and then boom, bam, thank you, ma'am, we're pregnant. Which for a lot of people it is, and they can have those oopsie babies, but I had never even had an oopsie. So for me, it was something that I had to end up like educating myself and really, really, really like diving deep and like trying to understand what all goes on with the body. And I guess you could say I kind of became obsessed with it, because I kind of did. Like, it became a lot for me. It became like my whole world, I guess you could say. And I don't want to recommend that to you guys. I don't want you guys to become like I did, because it really fed into how I was already feeling, which was low and depressed and, isolated and everything like that. And I feel like, and I stayed at home. I worked from home at the time. So it really, 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 really like did not help. So I don't want you guys to, if you're already feeling that way and you're like, well, I'm not stressed. Like, sis, like, you are. And that was me. Excuse me. Like, everyone would say, like, don't stress yourself, blah, 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 but like you end up just stressing yourself. So for me, I ended up going to the doctor and being like, you need to test like everything, like test my thyroid, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up getting the results back and everything was fine. Plus I had to just have my physical that February, I think, because that's when I got on a new birth control. That February I got the IUD in. I had that, and then I went straight into the IUD, because at that time we were just about to get married, and we were like, we're not really ready for a child yet. So I was just kind of like, okay, listening to whatever Jack said. My mom told me not to get on birth control, but Jack's like, we're not really ready for a child yet. We hadn't bought our house. We were still in our apartment, still struggling, things of that sort. So I was just like, okay, let's get on birth control. So got on birth control, and then that's when I got it out back in August. So one of the things that I felt like helped myself with tracking everything was to get a period tracker. So I used the app Flow, and then sooner or a little bit later I ended up switching over to Premom. So there's two different apps. Flow I just used to track my period, and then Premom I used to track my ovulation and things like that. But I started tracking my period, and once I got off of my birth control, my period was all out of whack. I've always been very regular. Let me also state that I've always had like 5 to 7 day periods. When I was on birth control, they were a little more 7-day, and then once I got off of birth control, they became 5 days. But I've always been regular, like clockwork. It would come, and I've always had 5 to 7 day periods, but after birth control, it became like 5 days. So using that period tracker like really helped me know exactly when my period was going to come, and that way I could log in and see like, okay, I was like a few days later, I was a week late here, blah 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 blah. It's like probably I'd say like 2 to 3 months after I got off of birth control, so about October-ish, no, probably like November-ish, my periods started to regulate, and they would come like clockwork every single month. I used the period tracker, and then I ended up finding out about ovulation strips, and I got this box right here. It's called Easy at Home. I don't know, how many is this? 50 test strips, I think, for like $12 or something like that. So it was a crap ton, but this became another like nuance. Like I peed on these every single day. Not every single day. So after my period ended, I would start peeing on this 1 to 2 days later. So what the ovulation strip does is you can pretty much pee in like a little cup. You can get like a disposable cups, or, you know, I don't know, anything. I had a pee cup from my mother-in-law got me from the office where she worked at, and I just used that pee cup. I would clean it out afterwards, but I would use that. And what you'd pretty much do is you take one of these, and I read the instructions first because I had no idea what they were. I had no idea that you can even track your ovulation. I had no idea. So these, it tests for the LH, which is the luteinizing hormone in your urine. And if it is, if it's present in your urine, it will start to discolor. It would start to turn colors. So you pretty much just peel it off, and you get this little strip right here. It has a control line, and then it has the line that you would look for. But you just dip it into your pee, and then I left it in until like the entire thing kind of filled up with pee, and then I'd place it onto my vanity, and then I'd pretty much just walk away and then go back and look. And it just, if it was dark, it would go from like light to dark. So if it was light, I knew that I was going to start ovulating soon, so I would just continue to test. And once it started getting darker and darker, I would test 2 times a day. So what this is once it becomes darker than the control line, that means that you are about to ovulate within 12 to 48 hours. So it's time to have sex. Like as soon as your line is darker than the control, you need to start having sex. So we would have sex, and we'd have sex that day, and then we'd have sex the next day, and sometimes we'd have sex the next day. So those definitely helped. In using the Pre-Mom app, I could take a picture with my phone and it'd log it in, so each day I can kind of see the gradual darkness, and it'd take like the levels of it, and it'd let you know like, okay, you're at a 0.5, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm not nowhere near. But then it'd go up to like a 2 over the days, and then it'd be like, oh, okay, I'm about to ovulate, so I need to have sex. But it became like a ritual for me. Like I did not play about these ovulation strips. Like even when I wasn't trying, I was still testing my ovulation just in case, because I don't know, there was one month where I just was so depressed about everything. I was so over everything, and I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna test anything. I'm not gonna do anything. And it didn't happen for me. People were like, oh, just let it be, just let it happen, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, let's see if that happens. And it didn't. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to test my ovulation. So that's what that was. It really helped me personally just know when I was ovulating, because other than taking those, you can take your temperature, but I wasn't rolling out of bed and taking my temperature first thing in the morning and logging it. Like it just, that's the most like spot on thing, because your body spikes like a 0.2% higher. But I was just like, I'm not doing that. So I'd rather pee on a stick and go from there. So that really helped me, having that app, and also taking my ovulation strips, at least to give me the window of opportunity. So I know I need to have sex here, and I know I need to have sex there. So next I decided to take Fertile CM, because another thing that you need whenever you are trying to conceive is to produce cervical mucus. I had no idea what the hell cervical mucus was. Most women don't, because a lot of women are able to conceive just by accident, but there are a lot of women out there that are trying to conceive on their own because they can't get pregnant on accident. And cervical mucus is something that your body naturally produces once you are about to ovulate. Your discharge will change, and I've never had a lot of discharge, and so I was just like, I'm not producing cervical mucus. It's a discharge, but it's a coating for the sperm, because your vagina is naturally acidic and it will kill off the sperm. So for me, my body wasn't producing cervical mucus to coat and protect Jack's sperm to travel all the way up, because they shoot out like 10 million sperm or something like that, and maybe like 10,000 make it to the actual egg, like through the whole journey, because they die off. Some of them don't swim right, some of them aren't moving right, whatever it may be. And I felt like my body was not producing that. So this I found on Amazon just doing some research. It's from Fairhaven Health, and I think you had to take 3 capsules a day. So I felt like it was a lot, and after taking it for a month, I didn't get pregnant, so I decided to stop using them. I didn't feel like it made me extra wet or anything like that, so this I ended up just putting back on the shelf and just kind of walking away from. I want to say it was a little pricey, but I was just kind of like, I'm ready to try the next thing. And so I ended up finding from the same brand, the Fertile Aid, and I originally read this review first, and a lot of women were like, this is what got me pregnant. I had been trying for blah, 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 and I ended up pregnant. And I don't know if I was skeptical about the reviews, because I'm one to get on Amazon and I will read the good reviews, and then I would go and find the 1-star reviews and then be like, I'm not buying that shit. Like, so after reading the reviews and stuff, I was just like, okay, this one didn't work, so I decided to buy this one. This is the same kind of thing where you have to take 3 capsules, and I started taking this at the beginning of, like, right after my period started. So I probably took this for 5 days, and I don't want to swear that this is what got me pregnant, but this was like the one thing that I did different that month, the month of August. Not the one thing, this is the first thing that I did different the month of August that I feel like could have gotten me pregnant. So what this is it's formulated for reproductive wellness. It's a 2-in-1 solution, patented fertility formula plus prenatal vitamin, which I had stopped taking prenatals. I was taking prenatals for like 6 months, and I was like, I'm not getting pregnant. I'm not gonna keep buying these prenatals. And it supports cycle regularity and hormonal balance. And one of the negative reviews was like, if you're regular, don't take these. And that was what kind of deterred me away from it, because I'm regular. I don't need it to help my cycle or anything like that. So I didn't want to take it. However, it helped. I really feel like it helped. It says, as a dietary supplement, take 3 capsules daily. Begin taking immediately and take continuously throughout your cycle. Discontinue once pregnancy has been confirmed by urine or blood test. So, I don't know. This really helped me, you guys. I took this, and then after we had sex like on the 2nd, and then we had sex on the 5th when my line was darker than the other. My urine line was darker than the control line. We had sex then. I put my legs up. I laid on my back. And this was another thing, because I was in a fertility group, you guys, the entire journey. And a lot of women were saying, like, it's an old wives' tale, but I swear that's what helped me get pregnant. It helps the swimmers, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I never tried it. The entire time I was on my journey, never tried it. And I don't know what it was about that month. I think I was just like, it's been a year. I'm tired of not being pregnant. And I laid on my back and put my feet up on my window. Our window is right behind our bed. I put my feet up on the window, and I probably laid there for probably 15 minutes with my legs up. And then we had sex the next day, which was the 6th. And same thing. I laid down, put my legs up immediately after having sex. And I don't know, I swear that's what helped me get pregnant, because I started taking this as soon as I got them. Well, not as soon as I got them. Right after my period stopped, and I took them through my fertile window, because my fertile window was probably, I think it was like the 3rd or the 2nd to the 7th or something like that. It was one of those. It was a window of like 4 or 5 days. I took it the entire time, and then some way, somehow, on the 19th, the day before my period was scheduled to start, I took a test and I was pregnant. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, obviously, you've seen the video. If you haven't, it'll be at the end of the video. But it was insane. It was so unexpected. I did not expect to be pregnant. So, besides those two things, putting my legs up and taking these pills, like, that's the only thing that I felt like I did differently that month. I didn't eat differently because I had tried keto at one point. Like, nothing helped except, I guess, those two things. Also, I had another thing I wanted to say, but now I feel like I've lost my train of thought. I guess you could say baby brain. Oh, well, I was going to tell you guys that right before I found out I was pregnant, it was probably a couple days before, I had called and I had just got my insurance and everything, and I was like, we need to try and go to a doctor and get some fertility tests done because it's been a year, blah, 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 blah. And I had called and tried to make an appointment, and some way, somehow, between going from the scheduler of the guy up there and the billing lady, it got disconnected, and I was just like, whatever, like, I'll call back later. And I never ended up calling back. And then like 2 days later, I found out I was pregnant, and I was just like, that was not divine intervention. Like, because I literally was so close to scheduling my appointment and going all the way, like 45 minutes away, to get fertility tests done for myself and Jack. And there was nothing wrong. Like, we just have to wait a year. I don't know. And then a lot of people are just telling me, like, you know, God's timing, God's timing, God's timing. And I was just like, but my timing? But literally, it took an entire year. But if I had to recommend anything to you guys, I would definitely recommend tracking your ovulation as a first step. Second step, it worked for me. These Fertile Aid for Women pills, they helped me. And then laying with my legs up right after sex. Like, I would get up because, you know, personal things, and go clean up. And just right away get up, go clean up and everything like that. And that time I didn't. I literally laid there with my legs up and did not get up for 10 to 15 minutes. And those two things alone really helped me. So that's my little insight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave it down below. I'm no doctor, I'm no nurse, no midwife or anything like that. Obviously, consult with your doctor before you take and do anything. But for me, I was like, I'm a healthy girl. I have never really had any issues reproductive wise or actually health wise. So I figured taking these pills, I wouldn't have like a counteractive kind of anything happen. So for me, it just kind of turned out well. So definitely consult with your doctor before taking anything. But ovulation strips are not going to be bad because, you know, once you talk to your doctor about wanting to conceive, they're going to ask if you know when you ovulate. And some women know when they ovulate by just knowing their body. They either feel it, or their cervical mucus, their mucus changes down there, or, you know, their breast tingles a certain way, or they just know their body. But I personally didn't, and without the ovulation strips, I probably never would have caught that right moment on when to start having sex, because you cannot trust the apps, you guys. The apps are just meant to give you like a random window based on the information that you input with your period. You can't trust it. Sometimes I would ovulate early, and then sometimes I would ovulate a little later in the cycle. So you just never know, and ovulation strips are the best to track exactly when, if you're not going to track your temperature when you're producing that luteinizing hormone in your body, because it like signals from your brain through your pee. I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. The body is so weird. However, yeah, try those things. I'll have them linked down below because they are still in my Amazon orders. So if you're interested, I'm not affiliated or anything like that. I just want to help another sister out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.